Hello everyone and welcome back to Lucky Loaders 15, where I'll be giving you 4 of my best tips for tomorrow's horse racing action. It's actually been a good day for us today. We've come out with some more profit again. I'll just quickly recap on how our selections ran before I go into tomorrow's tips. But it all started with a winning nap today, as Perfect Myth was a comfortable winner, bolting up by 16 lengths for Bryony Frost and Neil King. I was always confident about the chances, especially as well with there being a form line for a Dr. Richard Newland horse, which matched with her main market rival Green or Black. Green or Black was very weak in the market today and didn't perform at all well. And Perfect Myth, in the end, it was a well-judged ride by Bryony, who didn't get involved with the early pace setter and just sat back in second and third place for most of the race. And in the end, the runaway leader came back to the field in the straight, and in the end she was just able to pick her off very easily and won by as many lengths as you wanted, really. It was very impressive and definitely one to put in the tracker next time out. So Perfect Myth was a nice one in that there, advertised at 3-1. There was quite a lot of market support, especially in the last hour before the race. I think the horse was still around about 11-4 chance with an hour to go, and then I think went off around about 7-4, 13-8. There was a bit of money around for it, so hope some of you were able to get involved there. The other good selection for us today was Too Shy Shy, again another well gambled horse. We put her up as my long shot last night at 12-1 each way, and she obliged by finishing in third place, so we got the place money there, so that was a nice bit of profit there. And then our other selection was Melody of Scotland, who I think probably should have won that race, in my opinion, if she just hadn't made a mistake at the last. That did cost her the race because she was travelling really strongly in the hands of Richie McLaren. And I've seen a few people on Twitter cursing their luck about Richie McLaren. I just think it's one of those things, you know. I think if he pulled it off, everybody would have said, oh, what a great ride, Richie, what a great ride. But I think in the end, Melody of Scotland, she's still not a horse to give up on. And I think if she'd probably jumped that final flight with a bit more conviction, I should say, she probably could have won the race. So yeah, a little bit frustrating there, but I'm not going to complain. It's another profitable day, and hopefully we can continue the form into tomorrow. Now we're going to start tomorrow with my nap, and all our tips actually going to be running within an hour of each other tomorrow, so you want to have your eyes glued to the telly if you can. And we're going to start my nap tomorrow in the 3 o'clock at Newcastle. Now, the horse I'm putting up here, Serious Intention for Paddy Mathers and Richard Fahey, I think is a huge price of 8-1. I couldn't really work it out. When I was going through this earlier before the prices came out, I was expecting to get probably round about 4-1, something like that. So at 8-1, I'm really tempted to get a bit stuck in here to this horse at this price. Now, Serious Intention, he's ran okay so far. He's not set the world alight, hasn't torn up any trees. However, I think his last 2 runs have been slightly more encouraging. He finished 5th at Haydock last time, where he probably needed a little bit further up in trip. Oisin Murphy came with a challenge and really didn't give him too much of a hard time. And in the last furlong, he did stay on very strongly. And he's actually been dropped £2 by the handicapper for that run, which I think is a little bit strange. But anyway, he's going to be running off a mark of 68, and he's actually going to be slightly better off at the weights tomorrow with his rival Grantley, who ran in that race at Haydock last time out. So he's going to be better treated there. Also as well, he's by Kodiak, and he's going to the all-weather tomorrow. And I'm not sure what the recent stats were in the last year or so, but Kodiak at one point was the best sire to follow on the all-weather. So I think he's going to appreciate going to the Tapisa surface at Newcastle. And I think the long straight as well will really suit him. There's a bit of pace in there as well. Mark Johnston, the Mark Johnston horse will probably go to the front. And sometimes Newcastle, you don't really want to go to the front too often, and it could just set up for closures tomorrow, and I could see it just setting up very nicely for Serious Intention. Also as well, if you go back to his 5th place effort on his penultimate start at Doncaster, he finished in 5th place there, and the 4th place horse was Lost in Space for John Gosden, and that horse of John Gosden's has subsequently won a couple of nurseries and is now rated 82. So you've got to think that Serious Intention here could have a little bit of leniency off this mark of 68, and I just think if they settle him and they come with a late run, I think the mile will be right up his street, and I think he's a dangerous player in this race tomorrow. So 8-1, I'd be disappointed if he wasn't there or thereabouts. I think he's a big price there, and I'm quite strong about his chances tomorrow. So that's going to be my nap there in the 3 o'clock at Newcastle. We then go to the 3:10 at Salisbury. Now I've actually backed the winner of this race the last couple of years, actually napped the winner last year, which was Dark Lady in this Group 3 Dick Pool Stakes race I always like to follow. It was a really hot renewal last year, but I don't think this year it's not quite as strong. But I think Happy Romance is a filly going places, and I think she's the one to side with here. I'm not so keen on Timescale. I think she's a little bit of a small filly, and I think she's got a bit more growing up to do. If you've actually seen her, she's actually quite tiny compared to a lot of more of her rivals. But this Happy Romance, she's won her last couple of starts. She won the Super Sprint Stakes at Newbury, and then she won the big sales race that Mum's Tipple won last year at York. And she's just really improving, really. And we know she can get the 6 furlongs because that sales race at York is over 6 furlongs. And also as well, there is a little bit of a rain around tomorrow. She should be able to cope with it. She's by Dandy Man, whose progeny seemed to handle a little bit of cut. But I still think it'll probably still be on the good side tomorrow, and still will be good racing ground. Like I said, Richard Hannon, he won this race last year, so he knows what it takes. And I think this is the best filly in the field by a long chalk tomorrow. And at 7-2, I do think that's value there. And I think she will go a favourite tomorrow. And I think Timescale will be weak in the market. This is just going to be an extra tip. But I think Happy Romance has got a very good chance of going well. And for me, I think she'll go a favourite. I could see her maybe going off 9-4, 2-1, something like that. I think the money will be down, and I think she's the one they've all got to beat in that Dick Pool Filly Stakes. We then go to the 3:20, so they're all coming thick and fast here tomorrow with my next best, and that's Sunbear for Rab Havlin and John Gosden. Again, this horse is probably going to be very well gambled tomorrow. I think come post time it could nearly touch even money. Now this horse, she showed a little bit of promise as a 2-year-old on her only start. She finished second at Nottingham on heavy ground, and then we didn't see her until she was an odds-on favourite, where she did really disappoint that day at Kempton, but I can forgive her that run. You can sometimes get these John Gosden horses that run absolute stinkers first time out and then improve massively. Obviously Roaring Lion, absolute classic example of that, when he ran a very poor race in the Craven, but then he just got better and better and better as the season went on. And I can see this horse just following that kind of profile, the typical John Gosden, that I think will improve throughout the season. Now she's going to be making her handicap debut tomorrow in the fillies race of a mark of 82, and I think that's a fairly workable mark. She's bred to be a lot better than that, but she's out of she's by Dubawe, out of Great Heavens, who was a Group 1 winner herself. She won the Irish 1,000 guineas, and there's plenty of stamina in her pedigree. She's actually a full sister to Dubby of Charlie Appleby's, who was able to win over 2 miles. So you got to think going up in trip tomorrow to a mile and a quarter is definitely going to help. Also as well, if there is a bit of rain around, that should be no problem, because we know that she can handle the cut from her juvenile days, and Dubawi himself seems to do okay with soft ground. And I just think that if she is going to be better than the mark of 82, she should be winning this race, in my opinion, especially as well with her breeding. And I'll be disappointed really if she couldn't maybe progress up to a black type filly in time, maybe sneak in a listed race or something later on in the season, if she is good enough, that is, but from her breeding. But yeah, I think Sunbear tomorrow is the one they've all got to beat, and I wouldn't be at all surprised if come post time tomorrow this could touch odds on. I could see it maybe going off 5, 6, 10 to 11, something like that. And I think Sunbear tomorrow is the one they've all got to beat. We then go my long shot tomorrow in the 4 o'clock at Seville, the only jumps tip I'm giving tomorrow, and that's Dragon Car for Ben Post and Rosemary Gasson. Now this horse, he always runs his race, but he needs often a lot of things to go right for him. He's 10 to 1 with bookmakers at the moment, and I'm going to recommend an each way selection. Here's my long shot. Now he finished 4th at Savile last time, being held up at the back. That's the way he likes to run, and is the tactic he always chooses. And he finished 4th behind Peter Wink's A Gentleman last time out, and that day they were actually running off the same mark, and they were running off the same weights. Now tomorrow our selection is going to be £7 better, so there's definitely a good swing at the weights there. And Dragon Khan is, like I said, a horse that he just needs things to fall right for him. He's actually now £1 below his last winning mark. He's running off a mark of 77 tomorrow. He won at Bangor on D last year, off a mark of 78. So he is visibly well handicapped on some of his old form, and I just think the race could set up for him quite nicely tomorrow. He will need a bit of luck and running. He probably will need a bit of a pace to aim at, but if he gets things going his way, he's a massive player at 10-1, and I think you could do a lot worse there with an each way selection in that race. So Dragon Khan is for me. He's going to be my long shot, 10-1, and I'm going to recommend an each way bet there. So they're the 4 tips for tomorrow's racing. Quickly just recap: the nap is Serious Intention at 8-1, win only bet. 310 Salisbury is the extra tip, Happy Romance at 7-2, win only bet. And then in the 320 at Haydock is my next best, Sunbear 7-4, win only. And then the 4 o'clock at Southwell we go Dragon Khan at 10-1 each way, and that is the long shot of the day. So if you haven't done so already, please make sure you hit the subscribe button for more videos here on my YouTube channel. You can also follow me on Twitter as well, where my handle is @LuckyLoader15. And if you want to follow me and check out my website, go to www.chrisloaderracing.co.uk. You can find a full portfolio of my work, and even if you want to send me an email, feel free. I like hearing you guys from the feedback you give. So yeah, that's all I've got to say on that score. So please gamble responsibly. Hopefully we can have some winners tomorrow, and I'll be seeing you soon.